Hello and welcome back to the Mysteries of the Kingdom of Heaven. My name is Raj Singh. This is part 2 of a 6-part series where we will prove that John 19 verse 26 and 27 are two of the most misunderstood Bible verses. In this part we look at the marriage in Cana which YSHUA attended. John 19 verse 26. When YSHUA therefore saw his mother and the disciples standing by, whom he loved, he saith unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Verse 27, Then he said to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour, that disciple took her unto his own home. From this second series, we will go to the marriage in Cana and begin the story from there. Okay, this is John 2 verse 1, where YSHUA is at the marriage in Cana. So John 2 verse 1, and the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of YSHUA was there. A point to make, Joseph was not there, just the mother. Verse 2, and both YSHUA was called and his disciples, meaning all 12 were there. A very important point to make, that 12 disciples were there, to the marriage. Verse 3, and when they wanted wine, the mother of YSHUA saith unto him, They have no wine. Now, Mary, by saying they have no wine, is literally telling YSHUA to get wine, which is really Mary saying to YSHUA, make wine for the wedding, as Mary obviously knows that YSHUA has powers. Now, if our mother told us there is no wine, in a subliminal way, she is giving us the hint. We need wine, go to the shop and get some wine. Now, let's look at what was YSHUA's response. It's very, very interesting as to how he replies to his mother. So let's look at John 2 verse 4, YSHUA's reply to his mother. YSHUA saith unto her, Woman. What woman? And that's where we're going to stop at focus on just woman at the moment. The depth of John 2 verse 4 is amazing, so let us break it down. This is the first time YSHUA calls his mother woman, and YSHUA does it publicly in front of 12 disciples, servants, and who knows who else, as this was a wedding ceremony. By calling his own mother woman, YSHUA is saying there is no mother-son relationship. How can YSHUA, by calling Mary woman, be showing a mother-son relationship? How can YSHUA, by calling Mary woman, be showing love? And how can Mary feel the love of her son by hearing YSHUA calling her woman? Do you honor or dishonor your mother by calling her woman? Can any one of us publicly or privately call our mother woman and then say that they have honored their mother? Okay, so we're still on John 2 verse 4, and now let's see where YSHUA's reply, What have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. Now, YSHUA, when he says, What have I to do with you? He has now publicly embarrassed and distanced himself from Mary. He is saying, literally, he is saying, You are not my mother. By saying, I have nothing to do with you, it clearly means there is no mother-son relationship. For any mother to hear this would be a dagger to the heart. If you feel that YSHUA was talking with love to his mother, then you are definitely in denial. Why would YSHUA publicly talk to his mother in such a blunt and disrespectful manner, especially when the angel Gabriel told Mary that she was blessed among women? John 2 verse 5, and Mary tells the servants, his mother saith unto the servants, so his mother Mary has now said to the servants, whatsoever he saith unto you, you do it. Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there you have it. What does it mean, whatsoever he saith unto you, do it? It means I, Mary, am in charge. She tells the servants, listen to me. You do as I say, and I will also tell as I have told the Word that became flesh, that holy thing, what to do. In other words, everyone listened to Mary, and everyone does the will of Mary. So there you have it. That is the depth of why YSHUA distances and embarrasses his own mother Mary at the marriage. So now we're going to skip to Matthew 12, where YSHUA is in a heavy business meeting. And Matthew 12 verse 46, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. So we're going to break this down in sections, and right now we are just going to look at while he yet talked to the people. And we're going to look at the other part, the other half later. While YSHUA was yet talking, doing business, Mary decided to interrupt and talk to YSHUA. What could be more important in Mary's agenda? To come in the middle of the business that YSHUA was engaged in. When you want to speak, they have to listen. Mary did not want to hear the word of God. Mary wanted the word of God to hear her. The fact that we never find out what was so important for Mary to interrupt YSHUA's business meeting proves that it was irrelevant. Okay, so we're still on Matthew 12, verse 46, and now let's look at his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Now, Joseph is not mentioned, and this clearly implies that Mary is now the leader. She is the leader of this pack. The pack consists of Mary, the leader, and YSHUA's brothers. And this pack went to stop the business meeting that the Word that became flesh was engaged in. Okay, so we're still on John 12 verse 46, and his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him, while he yet talked to the people, behold. So if you read Matthew 12 from the top, you will see that YSHUA was engaged in a heavy business meeting with the Pharisees in a debate about the Sabbath, and they were accusing YSHUA of being the devil, and they were also requesting signs from YSHUA. Everyone was in silence, hearing the word of God, even the Pharisees who did not like YSHUA. Everyone except Mary. Mary wanted the word of God to hear her, for she did not want to hear the word of God. Now remember, Yeshua is John 1:1. He is the word of God. So let's go to Matthew 12, verse 47. Then one said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. So obviously, mother and the brothers are outside. The room is full. And one who's inside is now telling Yeshua that his mother and his brothers are outside and they want to speak with Yeshua. So what does this mean? What did it mean? Desire to speak with him. What did it mean? So we will now go to the dictionary and find out what it meant, the word desire. The meaning of desire. Again, let me emphasize, you could see, you could hear, and not understand. So, the meaning of desire is to wish or long for, crave or want. Now, I've underlined the word want. And so let us go and now see what the meaning of the word want is to get the full meaning of the word desire. Want, and here is what want means. To wish, need, crave, that word crave again, demand. And there you have it. The Word of God has revealed that Mary was a demanding woman. When someone says, I want to speak with you, they are demanding to speak with you. Mary told the servants, whatever he saith, you do it. There's a stern tone in her language, and she said, you do it. And likewise, she has that same nature with that holy thing, the Word of God that became flesh. So we're still on Matthew 12, verse 47, and you can see that Mary demanded to speak with the Word of God. Mary did not want to listen to the Word of God that everyone, including the Pharisees who hated Yeshua, were listening to. Mary wanted the Word of God to listen to her. Speak with you means I speak, you listen. Mary wanted to speak with Yeshua in the middle of business. While all the focus was on the Word of God, there was no focus on Mary. And Mary needed to be the center of attention. So Mary again, just like when Yeshua was 12, Mary again cut off the Word of God. So let's see Yeshua's reply to the one who relayed the message. Matthew 12, verse 48. But he answered and said unto him that relayed the message, unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? Yeshua breaks away from the initial business he was engaged in and now re-engages the business to address who his mother is. This is amazing. Yeshua is there in business and Mary interrupts. So Mary cuts off that business engagement. Now Yeshua begins a new business to address and answer who his mother is. Yeshua makes it clear and ends any doubt, and again publicly distances himself from Mary as his mother. The Word that became flesh seems to have had enough of Mary interrupting his business for her self-interest issues. What task would she have him do this time? For the Word already knew what Mary wanted to talk to him about. Did she run out of eggs, milk, or bread? For the last time, they ran out of wine. Now remember, he has done this publicly. The room was full with Pharisees and this man, and that is why Mary was outside with Yeshua's brothers. Matthew 12, verse 49. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples, plural 12, and said, Behold my mother and my brethren. This is another public humiliation of Mary. Remember, the Pharisees were there and this man was there. Yeshua, with his hand, points out that his disciples are his mother and brothers. Now, the Pharisees would have started whispering and saying, he's just denounced his mother. Because clearly, when you point towards the disciples, that's what you're saying. That these are my mothers, not the woman who is outside seeking or desiring, wanting, demanding to speak with me. So Mary was just outside, and the whispers would have got to her. How would she have felt hearing that Yeshua, her son, said his disciples were his mother? And if this is still people seeing as it is him showing love and honoring his mother, this is a very strange way of showing love. So let's break this deeper. Matthew 12, verse 49. He stretched forth his hand towards his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. Now remember, Mary stood outside with Yeshua's brothers, his stepbrothers. There were. By saying this, Yeshua has not only rejected Mary, but he has also rejected his real brothers. And he has said that the disciples are now his mother and brothers. What does this mean about the brothers that were outside with Mary? It means they were not doing the will of God. Now, we're breaking this down further again. He stretched forth his hand toward his disciples. Now let's look at this. Yeshua does not discriminate between male and female as to who his mother is. We all know that the term mother means the female parent. However, Yeshua has said that his male disciples are his mother and not the female woman who stood outside is his mother. So this is a public humiliation and rejection of Mary as his mother. Matthew 12, verse 50, Yeshua goes on to say, Whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. And there you have it. There you have it right there. So what does this mean? Whosoever shall do the will of my Father is my brother, sister, and mother. This means that Mary was not doing the will of God. This means that the brothers who stood without with Mary was not doing the will of God. Otherwise, Yeshua would have called Mary mother, And otherwise, Yeshua would have called his real brothers his brothers. But instead, Yeshua called his disciples his mother and brothers. Mary and her sons, Yeshua's brothers, Mary in particular wanted everyone to do the will of Mary. Remember, Mary was the leader of the pack. And that is why Yeshua not only rejected Mary as his mother, but he also rejected his brothers as his brother. So who is blessed? Luke 11 verse 27. And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked. A woman in public cries out, Blessed is the womb that bare you, Yeshua, and the paps that you sucked, Yeshua. It is a woman's womb in which the baby Yeshua was formed, and a woman's breast feeds the child to life. And what was Yeshua's reply? Verse 28. And he said, Yea, rather blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it. Yeshua again publicly humiliates Mary. What did Yeshua mean by saying, rather blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it? It means it is not the womb nor the paps that is blessed, not the woman that has the womb that has the paps that is blessed. Rather, blessed are those who hear the word of God and keeping. By saying rather, the word of God himself has proved that Mary, despite being blessed, fell out of her blessing. As Mary did not want to hear the word of God, Mary wanted the word of God to hear her. Yeshua, by saying that blessed are they that hear the word and keep it. So hear who and who was speaking. John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. Verse 14, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Matthew 4 verse 4. But he answered and said, It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that's proceeded out of the mouth of God. John 1:1. So by saying in Luke 11 verse 28, rather blessed are they that hear the word of God, again it clears it up very, very loudly. He has said that Mary could not hear the word of God. So what does this mean? It means that Yeshua is the word of God that Mary could not hear, that word that became flesh. And blessed are those who hear Yeshua, the word, and keep it. For Mary could not hear the Son, her Son, not just the Son, but her Son. And that's why Mary fell out of her blessing, because blessed are those who hear the word of God, whereas Mary wanted the word of God to hear her. This is Raj Singh from Mysteries of the Kingdom of Heaven. This is the end of part 2 of the 6-part series. We hope you enjoyed the abundance of revelations that were packed in part 2. Part 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just as powerful. So like, subscribe, and comment. God bless you all.